Prepared. Okay, so the police were just here, so I had to talk to two cops, and we talked about um, at the end of the day, if people ain't willing to talk, like to end the conversation, so it don't end up in yelling and you know and to if you know you're gonna disagree, don't even talk about it. If you already know you're gonna disagree, there ain't no sense even talking about it because it's just gonna lead to a you know an argument that we don't want. So just ignore it and just avoid each other. But but before the before they called the police and came here, I was talking about being prepared. See, throughout life, we're all human beings. Sometimes we prepare ourselves for maybe a test at school or upcoming. There's always throughout life. We prepare for whatever is coming up. Well, I wasn't really aware that I was being prepared throughout each year of my life. I'm 45 years old, right? So, and I was not aware. I don't want to get specific or ignorant or in fine detail about being prepared for now. So, if you don't take the time to drink some water, do some walking and exercising, reading books, getting your rest, sleeping at night, ending the conversation, and just zipping it, and relaxing and chilling out, and taking your time. You got to realize you got to be active throughout the day and try to relax at night. Not everybody gets to do the same things throughout the day and at night. So people like me, we got to be active during the day and then get a rest at night here. It's different than other places. So, in other words, it's better to start preparing yourselves now for whatever may the future. How about the next 2000? This is 2023. Start preparing for 2024. Maybe prepare for 5 years from now or 10 years from now. Don't write yourself off and don't give up on yourself. Don't write anybody off and don't give up on anybody. You gotta start. You gotta start preparing. That means start taking care of yourself. Maybe keeping your bedrooms clean, your beds made, your house clean. You, okay, okay. So let's go to the freedom of speech. That means you have a freedom of speech, but you gotta be responsible with what you say. Freedom of speech don't mean you can be reckless and messy with everything you say. So, a freedom of speech is you get to give your side of the story and your opinion on stuff, maybe even facts, but just because it's the freedom of speech, that don't mean you got the right to say what you want at any given time, anywhere, any place, around anyone. So, you know, you know what prepping is. A prepping, it's like getting things ready for a party or preparing for a vacation or getting ready for your first day at job, your first day at your new job. People, you have to start preparing. That means if you're like a human being, a man or a woman, in this neighborhood, you got to learn how to prepare. You can't expect for everything to always happen your way. Because I've been, like the cops just were here, right? I've had police show up and arrest me and not even aware that I was going to get arrested. not even knowing that I was going to get forcibly removed from my parents' house. It's happened many times. Like I wasn't expecting to get in fights and get arrested. I wasn't expecting them to get me evaluations and like I wasn't expecting this. So you got to be prepared, people. It's not like this year's going so great and everything's gonna be okay, and you got to prepare. You can't expect to get your way all the time. I have never gotten my way. All it is at the end of the day when people want to relax and chill out and go home and relax. Other people want to keep they want to keep the ball rolling. It's like, look, you can't always do that. Sometimes you got to block it. You just got to block the whole situation and chill and relax. You can't keep it going. You got to block it, and then just zip it and find something else to do. And maybe this is what I do. When it's time to block, I'll pick up a Bible or I'll put it on YouTube. Okay, so prepping and preparing is like, so say last 2022 was a complete failure. You lost all kinds of money. Nothing happened like you expected throughout the year. So maybe Happy New Year. Maybe this year you can have a better 2023 than your 2022. Well, look back at 2022 and where you messed up and where things went wrong. Maybe with your finances, maybe with your health. Maybe think about things that happened last year that what made your life a complete failure last year, and say, this is 2023. Maybe I'll do things differently, so I'll have a better 2023. Because if you keep on doing the same thing every year for the last 10 years and every year was a failure, obviously you're the problem and you're making mistakes with your money and your time. It's called squandering. Don't blame somebody else for your lack of organization. Do I have to say it? Special ed? Special ed, you know what special ed is? It means you're slow. You don't really quite get it. Special ed is when you don't have no education. You have no education, so you don't know how to plan. You don't know how to prepare. Okay, so special education is for people that are slow learners that really don't quite get it. That's why you have special ed in high school, for kids that are slow learners. Okay? So obviously if you don't want to block this conversation, you don't want to just zip it at the end of the day because there's people at your house trying to sleep, and you want to keep arguing and getting loud with people because it's called special ed. Special education means you're slow. And you don't read books, do you? You don't take the time to read a book. You don't have time to take showers and keep your room clean. You don't know how to manage your money. You don't know how to manage money, do you? You're not a good man. Do you pay rent? Do you financially support your parents and your family? What about the public and the community? Do you go to church? Do you do anything that is responsible besides keeping the argument in the conversation, in the group chat, and all this negative talk? Is that all you plan on doing the rest of your life, is keeping this negative stuff going? Them police officers said, just like, look, Chris, at the end of the day, you got to block it and just keep your mouth shut. And if you don't agree with what people are saying, don't argue with them. But, everybody's got to understand, you got to block. You can't keep that argument because the police officers and the judge and the lawyers and the prosecutors, you got to knock that shit off. Because we know who's doing it now. You better knock the shit off. We're not even playing now. You heard?